Merry Christmas, everybody. So this is another look at the Chrysler cassette deck. This mounts on the automatic console, and I have a 72 charger. So the car didn't come with it, but I always liked that option and I wanted it, and they go for ridiculous prices, and I just happened to luck out and find a gentleman that was willing to give me a really good deal on it. Now, he told me up front that it was working, and then it was just assumed that it was for parts. So that being said, I gladly bought it, and because it was in good condition, and it had this button here, or knob, which a lot of them on eBay are going for $400 or $500, and this got things missing, like this part here is broke, and this button's missing, or this knob's missing, so, or lever I should say. So without rambling on, I made a video last year, and I made it speedy footage just because it was long and drawn out and boring, and quite frankly, I didn't really know what I was doing. I was just pretty much trying to see if I could actually get it to do anything, which I was able to. But after hooking it up to a speaker and the actual radio or amplifier, whichever you want to call it, because this actually has a plug that plugs into the factory's stereo. I was able to get it to play music, but it was really slow. It wasn't up to speed. And basically what I did was I took it apart, and I didn't use these. I bought these off of Amazon, and they're supposed to be belts, square belts, and it comes with an array of sizes. But before that, what I did was I went to the dollar store and bought a bag of rubber bands, and I just put them around the pulleys to test the thing to see if it would work, and it did. But like I said, it didn't perform like it should. So I was happy to at least know that it wasn't burnt up. So I did some digging, and I almost got to the point where I was going to send it out, but it would have cost more than I paid for the thing. And really, to be honest with you, I only have like 3 cassettes, and I didn't see that it would be cost effective. So did some digging online, and actually a forum directed the people that were reading to a couple different places to find parts, replacement parts for these things. This company right here, if you can read the email address. If it's backwards, it looks backwards to me, but it's dynamtech group.com, and you just email them and tell them, I mean, you could go to their website, and it's just Dynamtech Group, I believe is the website, and it'll have a list of different cassette decks or whatever radios that you need parts for. And basically I emailed them, and they told me that yeah, they could get them, but they'd have to order some. So I had to wait a little while, but very responsive, good communication, have nothing but good comments towards this company. I have yet to try it, but I don't know if this invoice number would mean anything. I think it might be just unique to the to my actual purchase. But basically what this comes with is 2 belts. They're 2 different sizes, and it comes with what they call tires, but they're actually the rubber replacements for the drive rolls. So this is my, after I did some research and everything, I'm going to tear this back apart. I'm going to show you how to do it right. Now, looking at this package and these, I paid $20 for this package, and this whole thing I think was under $10. So being that I had nothing to start with, I was unsure if I even had the correct ones, and I guarantee that there's probably the right ones in this package. That might even be what they bought, but I just wanted to make sure I had the right stuff. So one thing I did learn through my research, and I did do it the last time I tore it apart, because I've had this apart 3 times now, that you want to, if you have a cassette deck or any kind of tape player, or even a VCR, and it's an unknown, like you don't know what it's been through or what's been done to it, it's a good idea to get one of these head demagnetizers, because if anybody used like magnetic screwdrivers or put magnets on the chassis, they call this the chassis, or anything like that, it could magnetize the heads. Now what could that do really? What does that mean? A lot of millennials or people that are younger that's never really had a tape cassette player wouldn't know what that means. And I've had cassettes, and I had a pretty good collection of them back in the 90s. But like everybody else, I tossed them because I didn't think they were ever going to be used ever again. CDs were out. And but anyways, you want to demagnetize the heads, because what happens if you try to play a tape or a VHS and the head is magnetized, it can erase it. It can erase whatever's on the tape. So I think this was, I want to say this was between $20 and $30. I think I got this on eBay. I believe I got both of these on eBay. I might have said Amazon, but eBay is where I got both of these. So basically, there's instructions on the back how to use it. I'm not going to use it this time, but I wanted to mention it because the last video, like I said, it was in speedy footage, and I don't believe I used this. So I might break this up into 2 parts because I'm talking a lot, but I want to explain things because there's not a lot of information out there, and I haven't seen a video where anybody's dived into one of these. I've seen where people worked on classic radios, they recap them. Basically, that means they change all the capacitors out for new ones. I haven't done that to this. Might eventually, but I know it works, and there is basically a potentiometer for people that aren't electronically inclined. A potentiometer is, you want to think of like those dimming lights that you have in your house, where you turn the knob and the light gets brighter or dimmer. That's basically what you would call a potentiometer. So basically there's supposed to be a potentiometer on the motor or electronically connected to the motor, so you could turn the motor speed up or down. And there's you could either have a device that tells you whether it's in range or not, or you have to do it by ear, or if you actually had a factory cassette, it would help you tune it, as far as the motor speed. I don't have any of that, so I'll have to probably test it by ear, but I'm not going to do that in this video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom you in, and I'm going to take it apart, and I'm going to try to do this quickly and try not to bore you to death with talking, but I think just watching somebody work and them not saying anything is boring also, so bear with me. I'm gonna readjust you now so so you can see what I'm doing, hopefully. So basically, to take the front off, you have to take these two Phillips screws off, and you have to take the knob and the switch off. And there's also a nut on here. You want to take that off also. So take a Phillips screwdriver, and it goes without saying, but you don't have to grill these screws on. You just want them just barely snug. It's plastic, and it's old plastic, so the last thing you want to do is break it. And this one's in very good shape considering the ones I've seen. And what people are asking for these on eBay is, it's just stupid. I mean, I understand it was a rare option, but people like that is what's killing this hobby. You're just making it to where only rich people can own these cars or do anything with these cars, and I don't think that's what the essence of hot rodding was about or supposed to be about. So anyways, I lied. I believe there is, yep, there is, I might have to pause the video because there's a hex head right here, and I don't have any nut drivers in the house with me, so I'm probably gonna I'm gonna pause the video and I'm gonna go get the proper tools. Okay, this happens to be a 1/4 inch bolt, so I'm using just a 1/4 inch nut driver. Okay. You take the face off. Alright, so now we want to take the top. Actually, we want to take, let's do the bottom first. We'll have to take both off, I believe, but on the bottom is where the belts are. There was a few screws missing on this, but there's enough to hold it together. Basically, you got a small screw. I don't know if it's going to focus. A small flat blade screw with this. It's a locking washer. It's not a lock washer, but it's if it'll focus. Well, anyways, you want to make sure you don't lose the little washers. Wasted too much time on that. So there would normally be 4 on the top, on the bottom, but in my case I was missing 2, so take the cover off, and then you're gonna see an old circuit board, and I believe this is I'm not sure what type, but this is a capacitor. So what we need to do is change out these belts. They're kind of tight. I'm not really sure if they're the correct ones for this. So to get these belts out, man, I think I might have to go get some more tools. Let's see. Yeah, because I need basically right here. Right here, I don't know if you can. I thought I brought a light in with me, but I guess I didn't. Right here, where I'm pointing, see that right there? That's a clip, and you have to get in there with like a retainer clip pliers and get that out. So I'm gonna have to go back out to my garage and get the pliers. Okay, hopefully I won't have to do any more running around. So basically these type of pliers here, and this is just Harbor Freight. The tips are interchangeable if you're wondering. So you just want to get in there and gently remove this clip. Hopefully I didn't change the tips out on it. It's coming. Okay. So I'll take that clip out. I don't know if this is, yeah, for some reason it's not wanting to focus here. But anyways, it looks like a horseshoe. It doesn't actually have two points in it. It's just see right there. Okay. All right. So now the next thing. Let me see if I can get you in closer. Let me pause you. Okay, hopefully that's a little better for you. So the next thing, there's this spring right here that we need to take off. It's not under a lot of tension, but you just don't want to lose it. A pick would be handy. As a matter of fact, I grabbed a pick, but it's been magnetized. So I don't want to use it because then I'll have to go through the hassle of demagnetizing it. But I might have to if I can't get this out. I do have smaller screwdrivers. This screwdriver set is for electronics, and I got this set from Harbor Freight also, if you're curious. I definitely don't have to spend a bunch of money, but if you definitely want to have the proper tools. Okay, so now it's loose and it's just sitting there on that plate, so I'm just going to leave it alone. So the reason we want to undo this is because when we take this belt off, oh, and I almost forgot this, there's a screw here right there where I'm pointing with the screwdriver. You need to take that out also. Actually, there's two. There's one down here kind of under the circuit board right there. That one's a pain in the butt, but we also have to take this off because this holds the pulley in place, and you're not going to be able to this one here is spring loaded. The one underneath the circuit board is not spring loaded, but you have to take this off in order to, and you see that guys, my screwdriver is magnetized, so I'm going to have to demagnetize the heads in this machine, which I didn't want to do, but I guess I will, and I'll end up showing you that. But it does make it easier for getting these screws in and out, though. That's on the plus side. Okay, we don't want to lose the washers there. So we take this bracket off here, and it only goes one way because it's got because the way it's shaped, and it's got this plastic piece that holds this down. You can't pull this pulley out, so don't even try. So this top one is your longer belt, and that's the one that's going to go on last. Now these belts are a pain in the ass, pardon my French, to get installed, and I probably will have to pause you when I do go to install them, because there's two grooves in this pulley here, and you have to make sure that the belt's not only straight, because it's square, it can't be twisted at all, and you have to have it in the right groove. Okay, so this one's fussy to get out because you have to fish it out between all these mechanisms here. There's 3 mechanisms here that you have to get the belt out. And they're all held together with that spring. That's why you need to detach the spring from one. This is really tedious work. It's not super difficult. It's just tedious. Okay, so it's out. And if you noticed, when they're not quite exactly the same thickness. The one on the bottom was just a little bit thicker. So not sure if that matters or not. But another thing that I didn't do too well, and I think I'm going to do it this time around, is you're supposed to clean these pulleys clean them up really good, because if they have any kind of belts or anything, actually they look fine. They look fine to me. So I'm just going to leave them alone. I did clean them up a little bit. Okay. So I'm going to take the ones that are right for this machine out of this package. And it looks like there's multiple ones, but they're just coiled up. There should only be 2. A long one and a short one. Okay. So the short one goes on the bottom. And like I said, the bottom one is the most difficult because you can't see it. I turn the, no matter which way I turn it, you're not going to be able to see, but there's another groove behind here. So looks like I might run out of video space. So if I do, I'll have to make this a 2-parter or to join the videos somehow. So the first thing, in like the reverse order, is to get it fished in there under these brackets, or whatever you want to call them. And it really sucks that it's magnetized, because I really didn't want to go through that process again, but oh well. I'm going to pause you just because I'm running out of video and I don't want to waste it. Okay, so I got less than 10 minutes of video left, so I'm going to make this quick. See down there, I can point to it. Right down here, this one here that I'm pointing at takes one of these tires. And then on the other side, on the bottom, there's another one, and that one's going to be difficult to get at. They're both dry rotted, so they definitely need a replacing. On the top side here, all I did that you missed out on was there's a cover on here. Let's see if I get it in the right spot here. So anyways, there's a cover on here, and there's 3 screws holding it, and it just comes right off like that. So that's all. And I took the top plate off, which was only a few screws because, like I said earlier, I'm missing some screws. So basically I have to change those 2 tires, and then the 2 belts. Like I said, though, the one on the bottom is difficult because it's actually underneath that large pulley, so I'm not quite certain how I'm going to get to that one. But I'm not going to just fiddle around with it while the camera's rolling, because I don't have much time left. I got about 10 minutes, about 9 minutes left that I can record. So what I'm going to do, and it's really nothing, you're not going to really miss nothing, but what I'll do is once I get everything installed, I'll show you where they went, and I'll explain what I did briefly, and then button it up. Okay, real quick, I had to take this off to loosen. Basically what I had to do was loosen up the circuit board to get this pulley out, and what I'm doing now is warming up my soldering iron so I can heat this ground up so I can remove it and rotate this circuit board, so that way I can get to this, because I still can't get to this tire here because there's 2 more of these turn the light on. There's 2 more of those clips that I have to take off in order to get this bracket off and then get that out. So there's quite a bit more disassembly I had to do. Also, this plastic piece here, it's a 2-part piece that goes right here. There's the other half of it, and that locks down the circuit board on here. So we have to be careful taking that apart that you don't break it. So there's 2 screws on the circuit board also. There's tiny micro screws. There's one here, and then there was one hidden under these wires, and that's where it pays to be gentle and not force things, because if I would have forced it, I would have broke that circuit board right there. So hoping that after I heat that up I can get in there and get this replaced. The one on the other side, I'm not quite sure how I'm going to get to that one yet. I'm hoping that I don't have to just dissect more. There's another spring right here that attaches to this hole, and luckily it didn't detach from this other bracket, but that holds this in place. So you have to detach that and also take these 2 clips out in order to get to this. Now I'm assuming that it'll come off. We'll find out here shortly, but I'm running out of film or time on my phone to record, so that's why I'm just giving you short updates and not recording the whole process. I wish I could, for my sake as well as yours, but it is what it is. Alright, I'll bring you back later. I was able to get the bottom wheel out. Now I'm gonna change this rubber piece they call a tire, and you can kind of see. Well, anyways, here's the old one from the top, and it's all see when I spread it apart, it's all dry rotted. They're both that way, so I'm changing them. And here's the new one put on. Now you notice this white washer. You want to make sure you don't lose that, because that's going to go in between the chassis and this is going to go in here upside down like this, and basically it's like a washer or a little plastic bearing, if you will. I'm not sure the technical term, but the new one's on. I just ripped the old one off because it was dry rotted. You can see it. And I just worked the new one on, and that's it. Okay. I did misspeak. It goes here in this slot, not up there. Just wanted to mention that I put this back on, this black piece, and you want to have it on orientated this way, so when it slides the cassette in, it'll push this towards the drive position. One other thing to note is that these clips that I just took off that go on this black piece are smaller than the clip that held that first clip I took off. Next thing I did was I took this pulley out, and it was right here, and that was the one that has the tire on the one side, and this is where the belt connects. And you can see how filthy that pulley is. This big pulley was the same way. I thought I had it clean, but it was far from it. I went through several alcohol pads to clean it up. So I took these, you can see those little discs that was holding the pin in, or the pulley in. So actually it was holding this piece, and then this slides through the other side. So it was in like this, and I just pulled the pin off the top. So more cleaning. All right, real quick before my phone dies, I got it all back together. Put this plate back on, put the board back in, soldered the ground connection back up, connected my plastic plugs here and there. The only way to get those tires changed is, you can see that one right there in the middle, is to take it all the way out. There is no way you're going to get that on it with it in the device. And there's the other one right there. Okay. I'm gonna put it back together, charge up my phone some more, and then I'm gonna go test it. I'm gonna leave the top off, so that way, actually I might leave the bottom off also, so that way I could try to figure out how to adjust the motor speed. Right here, this is the top side of the motor. I'm thinking that possibly this threaded screw right here might adjust the speed. I'm not sure, so I think I'm just going to leave both covers off and try to figure it out. It was recommended on the site that once you do change the belts and the tires, to readjust the speed of the motor. So that's where I'm at, and I'm not going to waste any more time with the assembly. I just wanted to show you, pardon me, I wanted to show you where I was at and what it looks like when you put it back together. There also, that plastic piece goes right on top of here. I'll probably leave that off also, but there you go. There's the new belts and the tires put in. All right. Okay, so I was having trouble with it in the dash because I was trying to avoid taking the stereo and the speaker back out. But that's what I ended up doing. And I think it was just because I didn't have these connected quite right. So I threw some of these male connectors. I got these from Napa. So anyways, I shoved them in the plugs so I could actually get a good connection. And I'm not going to play it for very long because I don't want, you know, the music police to turn my video in or whatever. But so yeah, it's some early 90s metal, hard rock metal. You might recognize it, might not, but I'm not going to say who it is. So anyways, that part works. So how this thing operates, in case you're curious, because I don't have it all put back together and everything, I left the fast forward rewind switch off because it was kind of messing with me. So to stop, if you want to stop the music, and I'll demonstrate. I'll turn the volume up. I don't have an antenna hooked up, so you just turn it to stop. Or if you have an antenna hooked up, you could turn it to radio, and it'll play the radio. I'm not sure why it's still turning, but you can't. I believe you can record off the radio. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm wrong. But to eject the tape or stop the tape, I'm not liking that. Okay. All right. So to like you're playing. You just push the button in, it'll stop it. And then to eject it, there's this little bar right here on the bottom. Just push that up and it spits it out. That's basically the combination of this face and this part. Basically, this is what shoots it out. And that's why I had to put this front back on, because I went ahead and put this back on so it wouldn't keep the tape in, because it kept wanting to spit it out because it's basically just spring loaded. So once you push it in, this tab locks it in place, so it's not going to spit it out. So to spit it out, you have to push the bottom. And then to play, you just make sure it's in all the way. And then just push this down. Now, this tape speed is right on the money. I've listened to this tape during through junior high school. I know it pretty well. So before, when I was messing around, and I was basically what I was using for belts, I went to Dollar General and got rubber bands. I suppose they might work, but they didn't work for me. But I think what really made it perk up this time was me changing those tires, because they were dry rotted, and they probably weren't driving the here, I'll show you. Let me disconnect the power here. So, well, I guess that won't, yeah, I'll just disconnect it from the battery. So I don't want to arc anything off. Okay, or short anything out, I should say. I'm going to try to do this one-handed. So basically, this right here is the drive motor, and then it runs these pulleys, and underneath this one here, like I showed you earlier, is a tire, and then under this pulley here, you can see it, barely see it, that one's a tire. They call them tires. I know it's kind of weird for me to even say tires, but that's what they call them on the website, and that's pretty much what they are. They're not belts because they just cover. I mean, just this is just example. They just cover the whole pulley, and they're quite a pain in the butt to get seated in there. They're a tight fit. But I believe doing that, and also by taking these pulleys out, I wasn't able to take that out because I wasn't going to remove the motor. I was already kind of worried that I wasn't going to get it back together right because I had to desolder and other things, but it worked out. But I still was able to get in there with alcohol wipes and clean that up really well. And then when I took these two off, I really cleaned them very, very well. When I first got this, it was not working, but I did basically the same setup here, and the motor was turning. So that's why I even attempted to try to get it to work. And that's why I just went and got these cheap rubber bands to just, I guess what I called it was proof of concept, to see if it's even worth fussing with. But hindsight is 2020. My advice is don't mess around with rubber bands. You can go ahead and get these off of eBay, but then again, you're still not getting the tires, and those are just as critical, if not more. Well, they're all these components are critical, and I would change them all. If you're going to change the belts, change them all. But what I was getting at originally, when I opened this up, there was no belts; they were gone. And what had happened, what my guess is they must have just burned up, like they must have dry rotted, and somebody tried playing it, and that they just melted into these pulleys. And they were just, I mean, you could still see kind of the residue on my fingers and underneath my fingernail. I clean my hands, but it was just a lot of black, and bits and pieces of the belt were stuck in that groove. So the belt wasn't even really able to fully seat in these pulleys here. And there's two grooves in this one. So I believe cleaning these up very well, getting them squeaky clean, and then putting the right size belts, and then replacing them tires. That was the trick, because everything I tried up until this point, yeah, I got sound out of it, but it was horrid, and it was very slow, like it had been, like the music was slowed down, and it was just unlistenable. I mean, it was comical for the first couple minutes, but it was definitely not something that I could be able to listen to. I mean, this is not hi-fi, and even though the speed is correct, the quality isn't that great of the sound, and that might be a lot to do with the speaker. This is a reconed original speaker. At least I was told it was reconed. So, and I even direct connected it there in case I had a poor connection and it didn't make any difference. I would attempt to use a better speaker just to test it, but I'm satisfied, and it sounds good enough. I mean, for a close to 50-year-old car, and actually having this, I mean, it didn't originally come with this option, but it's what I would like to have in it, and it isn't going to hurt the value of the car, and it might increase the value. I mean, it really depends, but I'm not building this car to sell. It just caught my eye. I wasn't really looking for a third gen charger per se. I was kind of looking at getting like a 71, 72 satellite Roadrunner. That's really what I had my eye out for, but I seen this one and I just kind of, fell in love with it. It had 440 and air conditioning and power windows and hideaway headlights and rear defogger, bucket seats. I mean, the half canopy top, that's like it, love it or hate it kind of thing. I think the full vinyl tops look better on these cars, but lights on a sensor. Oh, and it has the RT taillights. They're basically the 71 RT taillights. Excuse me, RT and 500. And in 72, they blacked them out. So, this video has been pretty long. I acknowledge that, and I apologize, but I was making this video, or I decided to make this video to try to help and encourage someone that has one of these and doesn't have the money to send it out and have it worked on. Now, this isn't a guarantee that every time, somebody replaces the belts, or in every situation when somebody replaces the belts and the tires, that it's going to fix it. I'm not guaranteeing that at all. I'm just saying, if you have if you have a same situation, $20, what are you out? If you already have the unit and the motor works, why not try it? But like I said, this is no guarantee that this is going to work in every case, every situation. But in my case, and I was very, very fortunate to find someone on social media that was willing to help a guy out that is trying to build a cool car and doesn't have deep pockets, because it really saddens me and it kind of ticks me off that people are asking $2,000 for a unit like this. It's, who the hell would pay $2,000 for a tape deck, original or not? I mean, you're ruining the hobby, people. So, with that said, I'm going to put everything back in the dash, and this will go back in the center console. And then I'll be on my way to getting this thing back around the road. And I'm excited, and I worked painstakingly on this evening to make sure that it would work. And I wish I would have thought of this deal before I pulled the whole thing out. But anyways, it doesn't matter. Thanks for watching. If you have, not too many people watch my videos because I'm not that good at being a personality or talking or anything like that. But I'm not trying to make money off of YouTube. And what my goal is to help people and to have something to look back on. And I'm proud of this project. It took me a long time, a lot of research, more than time to work on it. But you really got to do your homework on things, especially when this was before you were born. But I've exhausted this video long enough, and I appreciate it. And like and subscribe if you want to see more. And I hope this works out for you. Take care. Bye. Okay. So I did end up installing this cover back on just 3 screws. Got to tighten that one down yet. I don't want to use my electrical screwdriver because it's magnetic, and I don't want to have to demagnetize the thing again. So see, it's not picking up a screw, so well, you probably can't see it. It's not picking up a screw now, so with this one, so this one is not magnetized. It's a little on the big side, but it'll work. You don't want to tighten these down too tight anyways. Okay, I did hook it up and everything, but I wasn't getting any sound out of it. So I'm hoping by putting the cover back on that I'll get some sound out of it. Otherwise, I don't know what's going on. Damn it. You know, as you can imagine, this hasn't been a fun task. I had to rip apart way more than I wanted to get those tires changed, but that's what it took. So let's see. So right now, that's stop, that's radio. Nope, I take that back. It's late at night. I'm tired, cranky. Just ready for this to be done. Okay, so it's in the play position. I'll show you what I'm looking at. I'm looking at this here and at the faceplate. So this is reverse, this is forward. You can see this is the reverse and forward control. Kind of sticky right now. And then this outside knob is on play. And you push it into a eject. So I'm not quite sure why I'm not getting sound. So I thought maybe, but that doesn't ground anything out, so sorry. I thought there was something that, you know, grounded that out, but there isn't. So hopefully I didn't damage some of the connections in there. Possible, very possible. So basically you put the tape in. I am going to put the face back on. I just don't want to take this apart and put it back together several times. Okay, so I'm not going to screw it together. Shit. I left a piece in the house. I'm not going back. I've been going back and forth all night. Well, not all night, but ever since I started this project. All right. Put this guy on. Sorry, I'm moving around and it's hard to pay attention to the camera also. Okay, now I remember that's for the microphone. See, I'm pretty tired. Tired working on this thing too. I've been working on it all year pretty much. I mean, not every day, but I've had this apart a few times, messing around with the belts, and well, just wasn't getting anywhere. That's why I ended up ordering the correct ones. Paid the 20 bucks. Okay, so put the cassette in. Okay, so this face keeps the cassette in, and then you push it down. It's supposed to stay down. Well, anyways, maybe when I hit play or plug it in, maybe it'll, I don't know. I'm to the point where I'm about ready to start cussing. Not sure why it's not staying down. Maybe it's because there's no power applied. Alright, I'll pause you and then I'll bring it back. Okay, so I got it hooked up. You can hear it, there's sound coming out of the speaker. When I put it to play, not sure what's going on. Alright, pause you.